International roundup. Can we put Shanklin in for the international roundup? Because he absolutely loves it.
Glorious! No, I won't give in till I'm victorious.
Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we have the international roundup. Now there's two things I love about the international roundup. One, we get to keep up to date with all the Bears on tour, you know what I mean, we follow them anywhere and everywhere. And two, whenever we do the international roundup, it usually means the international break is coming to an end and we're almost back to the real football. So give yourselves a round of applause for getting through another international break. Sit back and relax and let's discuss the Rangers players. Let's start off with the closest to home then, shall we? Now there was no Rangers player representing Scotland's first team, as Ryan Jack obviously picked up an injury in his last game and had to withdraw from the squad, but there was a couple of players for the under-21s playing. That was Glenn Middleton, Ross McCrory, Robbie McCrory, and the very, very impressive Stephen Kelly, who has been killing it at Ayr. And it was fantastic to see Kelly getting the recognition he deserves, because what he is doing week in and week out, he's a set-piece master and he's only going to continue to get better and better. So he was involved in one game over the weekend, which was a draw. Spoiler alert, both of the games were a draw. And the other three Bears were involved in both of the games. That leaves him top of the international group, by the way, so that's good to see, you know what I mean? We get the players in and you see the rewards, top of a qualifying table, not near the bottom under Kazakhstan. The national team, like senior level, could learn a lot from the youth level. And just very briefly, the one player that really stood out to me, because I think they all had a good game in their own way, but the one player I was very impressed with, and that was Ross McCrory. You can see how much of a leader he is to that team, and he's just so competitive, he just gets stuck into everything, and he's still getting better and better, and that is what we want to see when we get him back next season. Moving over to the brothers over in Northern Ireland then, shall we? We had one player representing the senior level, and that was none other than Stephen Davis, the legend himself. Now Davis played in two games over the international break, the first one being an absolute heartbreaking loss to Netherlands 3-1. They were winning for the majority of the game and they conceded 3 late goals, including one absolute freak goal that really turned the tide in that match. But the match was very emotional. I'm sure you guys would have already seen the clips already, but both the Netherlands fans and obviously the Northern Ireland fans were there singing and chanting Fernando Rickson's name. They held like a ceremony at the start for Rickson. It was just brilliant to see, and it was a fantastic game of football as well. Stephen Davis again instrumental in keeping Northern Ireland in that game and also ahead for 80 minutes. Moving over to the second game, Stephen Davis picked up an assist and came off in the 65th minute, as again this one was just a friendly, as Northern Ireland ended up winning 3-2 versus Czech Republic. But it's good to see Davis continuing to do things at an international level. And we bit of trivia for you, Stephen Davis has climbed above Steven Gerrard in terms of international caps now. That's right, he's pushed the gaffer down. That'll be interesting to see if he gets a game at Hearts now, and now he's become the 4th most capped UK player ever. That is some achievement. And I just want to ask you, do you think he's going to go ahead and break the overall record? He's tied 4th right now. Do you see Stephen Davis continuing to play at the international level until he is the most capped UK player of all time? Let me know your thoughts on that down there in the comment section below. To me, I can see him doing it because I didn't see any signs of stopping. This guy's just continuing to get better. He's like a fine wine, and he's been ever present since 2005 for his country. And it's well worth noting, by the way, that young Cammy Palmer, the former Rangers youth captain who led us to 4 trophies last season, both youth and reserve level, got another 2 international under-21 caps for Northern Ireland, but it was a disappointing weekend where they were beat twice. Right, let's fly over to Croatia then, shall we, and talk about the man himself, Borna Barisic. It's not even a question, it's not even a doubt now when this man is selected for his international duties. By far the first choice left back, and if I'm honest with you, based on his performances, he's got to be one of the first names on the Croatian team sheet. I'm not even kidding. The consistency's always been there, and we're starting to see it now for Rangers over the last 8 weeks. But again, his level was high at international duty. The first one getting a clean sheet over a 3-0 win with Hungary, direct threat, always going forward. And the second one, he actually played really well in a 1-1 draw versus Wales. Now Gareth Bale did score, but Gareth Bale had to move to the other side of the park to get into the action. He didn't get any change from Mr. B, and obviously he was involved with an incident involving Daniel James where they kind of jumped up and James fell, looked like he got a concussion, but there's nothing like BB done wrong there. It was just an accidental collision, so I'm not really going to speak too much about that. It was 2 very impressive performances from Borna Barisic again, and he continues to play tremendous. Let's stick with the C's then, shall we, and transfer over to Colombia. That's right, we are here to talk about Alfredo frickin' Morelos, and I'm so happy that I get to do this part again because he's learned his lesson and he's been rewarded with a call-up. And not only just a call-up, he played 80 minutes for Colombia. Now, he did get substituted on, so he didn't start, but again, 80 minutes to show what he can do. And if I'm honest with you, if anyone watched that game of football, have you ever seen a more fiery encounter? Colombia and Chile was just foul frickin' city. Now, he didn't get on the score sheet, but again, it was a fiery game where the whistle was going every 25 seconds. But the fact that he didn't get involved in anything stupid, held up, and again showed that maturity is a major plus for Alfredo Morelos. Now, he does have one other game tonight, late on. I believe it's at 8 o'clock kickoff, and he's expected to start versus Algeria. So that'll be some moment if that is actually true. And speaking of games tonight, by the way, we're going to travel over to Finland because they are playing right frickin' now. I've got it right there, and they're currently 1-0 up versus Armenia, and we're talking about Finland, so we're obviously here to talk about Glen Kamara. Now, apart from this game of football where he is actually playing very well, using the ball very smartly and not giving the opposition a sniff to get the ball from, the first game though that he played was really poor from everyone, including Glen Kamara. I've got to be honest with that one. They were absolutely blown to pieces on a 4-1 rout from Bosnia. But based on what I've seen with my very own eyes in the 63 minutes that the game's been on, it looks like a rebound performance from the entire team and Glen Kamara as well. So hopefully they can hang on and go ahead and win this game of football. Next up, we're going to take the short journey over to Sweden, and this one's going to be even shorter to explain. Helander was once again called up by Sweden, but was an unused substitute. Now, they do have one other game to go, but it's heavily expected that he won't feature at all again. So it's disappointing that Helander isn't getting there, but you've seen over recent weeks for Rangers, he's starting to get some game time, so I'm sure he can force himself back into that starting 11 for his country. And last but not least, pack your bags because we are heading over to Nigeria because I've saved the best for last, and we're here to talk about Joe Aribo, or what he's been coined now, Joe Super Eagle Aribo. And all the plaudits that's been flung at this man is well deserved because it was Nigeria versus Brazil. Now, Brazil was heavily favourites to win this game, and based on maybe the chances, they should have won the game of football, but what stood in their way? A certain goal scorer by Joe Aribo, who left 3 Brazilians in their wake. I mean, he turned them to pieces and slapped the ball by Ederson, and before anyone could even react, it was a fantastic goal, showing everything you get from Joe Aribo. You get skill, you get the composure, and he's got the quality at the end to back up with a fantastic finish, and the game finished 1-1. And it wasn't just the fact that he scored a goal or anything like that, it was the way that the goal broke down. He left Jesus in his wake, right? He skinned past Marquisio, he blew past Casemiro. These are high profile names worth hundreds of millions of pounds, especially in today's market, and he left them standing. It was beautiful for Joe Aribo, and he's getting, again, the praise that the man deserves. Now, they do have another game on the 18th versus Tonga, and it is expected that he plays in that game of football, so that must mean that he's going to be ruled out of the next game. But again, you look at his overall stats, 2 games for his country, 2 frickin' goals. If you're quiet enough, hear that? That is Lee Boyer greeting. And with all that being said, that's the end of the international roundup from my part. Now I want to know what your opinions and reactions are to the Rangers players on tour, and while you guys are doing that, I will jump over to Twitter and hear who has impressed them. First up then, we have Peter Ramsey. He writes in Aribo. Bob Steele also writes in Joe Aribo. Keemstar writes in at under 21 level Ross McCrory, and at senior level it has to be Stephen Davis for showing just how much of a leader he is. Agree with those 2 picks there, mate. Seb Ojo writes in the big man breaking between Jesus and Casemiro, skinning Marquisio and slotting past Ederson. Roy O'Neill writes in Aribo for me unless Morelos gets a few goals tonight. Fingers crossed on that one. Callum Bruce writes in Aribo. Blue Viper writes in Stephen Davis. The man's like Robocop, only smaller and more ginger. Ian Moore writes in special mention to Joe Aribo for his fantastic goal versus Brazil. Barisic was solid again for Croatia. Impressed with Middleton and Kelly for Scotland's under-21s, but for me it has to be Stephen Davis. He's now the fourth most capped British player of all time. What a career, what a man. He was tremendous for Northern Ireland this week. And the last 2 or 3 we'll read out. The first one comes in from just a British flag, that's the name he's got in there. He goes, everyone's played well, but I would say Joe Aribo. 2 Squiddy writes in, it has to be Aribo. It's the way he's wrote it, okay. Forever and ever writes in Joe Aribo. And the last one we'll read out in tonight's video comes from Fivo RFC. These names are getting harder to pronounce. He writes in, Steve Davis, for me, the man is just a born leader. He is one of the best midfield players of our generation. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from me. You've heard from the people. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. Before we wrap up though, I need to give a special mention to the absolute legends on the Patreon's account. I know I say that in every single video, but genuinely thank you for all your support. If you would like to support the channel, the link for that is down there in the description below. And I've been CJing Over 92. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and bye.